You are welcome back. If you have been with us during the brunch time, but if this is your first time of joining us today, welcome to the temple. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you. From wherever you are joining us, it is Mayegun Live. It is Humpty Dumpty Day, where everything seems to be collapsing and metaphorically, Kolu fell. That is not even the news. Tell everybody. Lórí Facebook. Lórí YouTube. So Tinubu is not a Superman. That is what the presidency of Nigeria put up as defense. It tripped. Anyone can trip and fall. Not everyone is a president. The Nigeria EFCC, well, they have come out now to say, all of you criticizing the public officials online, you are criminals. Those are the people who captured Nigeria. But just let us get down to it. There is a part of Kolu's broadcast this morning that I'm going to share with you that resonates with this message this evening. Share this broadcast. Thank you. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us from today. It is Mayegun Live. I know a lot of you have been following the development from Nigeria today, because today was the day they were celebrating the 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. It is also the day, 25 years after the military left, that Nigerians were out to say they are hungry. So we are going to be picking the event up today as they happened. But let's start from the last part of what Kolu said from his pre-recorded video this morning. I don't know if you've seen it, or this part.
Is whether we shall lower our guards and fail to defend democracy as the shadow of despotism and its evident physical danger fade. I say to you here and now that as we celebrate the enshrinement of our political democracy, let us commit ourselves to the fulfillment of equally important counterpart, the realization of our economic democracy. I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built on the flawed foundations and over-reliance on revenue from exploitation of oil. The reforms we have initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth. There is no doubt that the reform has occasioned hardship. I feel your pains. Yet, there are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for his endeavor and labor. As we continue to reform the economy, I shall always listen to the people and will never turn my back on you. In this spirit, we have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less. In the face of labor's call for national strike, we did not seek to oppress or crack down on the workers as a dictatorial government of the past would have done. We chose the path of cooperation over conflict. Nobody was arrested or threatened. Instead, the labor leadership was invited to break bread and negotiate towards good faith resolution. Reasoned discussions and principled compromise are a hallmark of democracy. These themselves shall continue to animate my policies and interaction with the constituent part of our political economy. I take on this vital task without fear or favor, and I commit myself to this work until we have built a Nigeria where no man is oppressed. In the end, our national greatness will not be achieved by traversing or traveling the easy way. It can only be achieved by taking the right one. The words of American President Franklin Roosevelt sadly rings true, and I quote, "There are many ways of going forward, but only..."
I don't want him to sort of waste much of your time, okay? I have picked what I think is a little bit questionable, few things that are questionable, and I'm going to throw them to you. I mean, forget about all of that wind-piped jargons. So Kolu said he is currently doing a reform. That is why Nigerians are going through hardship, okay? But you that is watching me right now, in fairness, he said they are working very hard in order to build a future. But in fairness, in the last 9 years, okay, let's take Bukwari out. In the last 1 year, can anybody watching this broadcast, please tell us if you know just one or two of where Tinubu reform, okay, is actually a reform within your economy. Is it the power sector reform, which you can say, oh, very soon you are going to have 24 hours electricity? Or is it the economic reform, the one that they are floating your naira, freeing your naira, and you know what that is today, right? Is it the tax reform, where more people have lost their jobs, and those who still have theirs are being taxed to death? Is that the reform? I've been a subsidy removal reform. Can you beat your chests that Tinubu has reformed the oil sector, or is reforming the oil sector? That is why you are in hardship. Is it the border reform? Security reform? Tell me exactly what is the reform that Tinubu is doing except for taxing and then picking your pocket and borrowing money? Is borrowing money a reform? Where businesses are folding up and packing and leaving, jobs are, is that a reform? But do you know something? they are telling themselves that they are actually reforming or doing something in Nigeria. But you see, there is a difference between when you say somebody's reform, economic reform, may create some hardship. For example, let's say when they told you subsidy was gone, and in all genuity, it was gone. They are not paying secretly for it or borrowing to pay for it. And the money they were supposed to pay to those people are now being used to fix your road, to fix the power, to fix critical infrastructures that actually really helps you. But you know that is not what happened. Is it the security reform? Are you safer now in Nigeria? Are you? What reform exactly that you will say, it's because they are now doing something there, they are doing it right now. That is why a lot of people are complaining. What exact reform? Because when they talk about reform, we are working hard. You must be able to point at those things and how they are impacting your life now, or how they will impact your life in the long run. That is how you compare any reform at all. But when they speak all this windpipe grammar, all this word salad, everybody go back to their normal, so they can keep up putting up at the show. And that was when they called him. They called you. It is time for you to come and wave at us. That's the one that majority of you will remember today. But let's sing this, national anthem of the Nigerian police. It is the Call Loose anthem. Please. Nigeria is a joke, but it was the time for Kolu. That's why I had to play you the national. I mean, who better sings the national anthem than the policemen? I mean, it is kind of like normal that the police will know more about. It is kind of like an old new national anthem. And I have seen some Africans, especially Kenyans. Just in case if you are a regular user of Twitter, which is this X, you possibly might have come across some Kenyans not Kenyans generally, but like few political jobbers from Kenya. As you have them in Nigeria, you have them in Kenya too. But there's something I'll tell you about them, okay, very soon. I've seen few of them, some of their influencers, right, trying to dabble into how Tinubu tripped and some assaulted today. But he didn't kind of enjoy himself. And that is expected. Whenever that happens, or any public figure, that gotcha moment and all that, in today's internet age, it becomes like a meme. It goes viral. That's a normal thing. But I've seen some Kenyans trying to tell Nigerians that why are Nigerians so negative about their country? Why are they negative about their president? But let me tell you something. What is happening in Nigeria, the worst of it is happening in Kenya right now. If you are a Nigerian living in Kenya, maybe you should please, let's know how far. They themselves entered one chance. That one chance is that a suit-wearing dunderhead, Gaiman, Ruto. How many of you remember when we sort of celebrated with the Kenyans? When the Uhuru Kenyatas and the rest wanted to use their influence to prevent him from becoming the president. And then the Supreme Court of Kenya stood up and declared the election conclusive, and they declared him winner. Everybody felt like, yeah. But majority of Kenyans who knows Ruto as a former vice president, they were pretty much not really amused. Now, today in Kenya, you see all these taxes that you are witnessing in Nigeria. The same Ruto is in bed with World Bank and the IMF. They are also putting up different bills, different taxes. Companies are also packing and they are beginning to leave Kenya now as well. So it is now, you see, what Kenyans are witnessing right now is what Nigerians witnessed under Buhari the last 8 years. So the consolidation of that destruction of Buhari is what Tinubu is doing now. So when you see Kenyans, because they are fighting themselves like you in Nigeria now, those who feel like, hey, what is wrong? They are taxing them in a way like businesses are being taxed up to 40%, and some of them are folding up now in Kenya since Ruto came back from that World Economic Forum. Yeah, in Kenya, what you are facing in Nigeria, worst of it is happening in Kenya as we speak. The only difference is that they still kind of are managing to get investors than Nigeria. Like this year, a few of them were like dropping by. So we are going to invest $100 million in Kenya. Or we are this or that. So if you are a Kenyan watching me, I don't know your language, you. Listen, however you see Nigerians react to the criminals destroying their lives in Nigeria, nobody knew. I actually saw some of you already giving it to them out there. Any Africans, okay? Ghanaians, so Kenyans, so and few of others, I mean, all these South Africans, so they are all going through it right now. So make everybody just mind your own business, okay? If you are positive with your own criminals in your country, enjoy them. You see those ones in Nigeria, there is no peace for them, not to talk of any respect. So Kalu, the demented Kalu was called to come and march. Normally, if you want to do this kind of ceremony, they will do what is called a practice, riaza. So if Kalu was a normal person, it will be there, they will do the riaza under a serious security, how it's going to be, who is going to be where, and all of that, you know that stuff now. But Kalu, Mr. Anyhow, and, druggy and all of that. But in in all honesty, right, we all do trip. Okay, it's just that a camera don't capture us tripping. But when you see a president, I mean, I saw Joe Biden fell a few times, and honestly speaking, every time I see Joe Biden, what I see is just an elderly abuse. Sincerely speaking, if you take politics out of this whole madness, it should be somewhere in a care home where they are actually looking after him. Same with Kalu. But they are president. I mean, they are president of countries, Abby. So So I saw Joe Biden fell while he was ascending, I mean, descending or descending from the aircraft CS, or I think when he was climbing it or so, and I was like, oh my God, like that shock. Or if you see waiting Americans take that video too. If you don't like Joe Biden, at some point you will begin to feel sorry for him. Like, Abba, there is nothing we Americans no take that Joe Biden's false. I mean, go online right now and type Joe Biden on Twitter or on Facebook. You will see a lot of meme about him, where he's lost and all of that. Right? But the Americans are reacting based on what they believe is the economic reality of their country, and Joe Biden is to be blamed for everything. There's nothing wrong in that. Because you can easily tell, for whether it is economic crisis or security crisis or any of these crises at all that happens in any country or anywhere, your government is involved. If they are not involved, they'll be frontally at it to end it. But when they begin to manage it, they are involved. So what do you expect? People should begin to now kind of feel like, no, stop it. So they called Kalu, ladies and gentlemen, since he always makes the whole thing about himself anyway. June 12th, Democracy Day. Then they will make it about him, starting with this.
Essentially received. Now, Mr. President will be accompanied on this inspection by the Commander Guard Brigade, Brigadier General A. Onosanya. Happy View, Your Excellencies. And at this juncture, we take a synoptic look at the resume of the reviewing officer. The special guest of honor and reviewing officer for today's historic occasion, His Excellency President.
Sorry, oh. Sorry, oh.
May God not allow them, may they kill you. So I blame his handlers. I will blame his handlers. And only God knows what these guys have to handle in private. Like you have to handle an elderly, senile, sick old man. I said it this afternoon that what is wrong with the people? Tinubu is old. He had surgery on his 2 knees. You see, these two, there's nothing wrong if Tinubu has a walking stick to brace himself. There's nothing wrong. If he's on a wheelchair to aid his movement and the rest of it, there's nothing wrong. But they always want to appear like they are fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm very healthy. So Mr. President is very healthy. Mr. Kineko, who are you trying to impress? Somebody who is nearly 80 years old. He's had knee surgeries. He's had other medical conditions that they are not disclosing. So why are you trying to make him look, when he walks, he's walking like somebody who they are dragging? Because you wanted to show to Nigerians that, yeah, he's healthy. He's not healthy. And there is no shame in that. There's no shame in that. We have younger people who are younger than Tinubu that are using walking sticks. There are people who are far younger than him. They are on wheelchairs. It is for their own health. So who are you trying? I've said this many times, but that's my own personal kind of like. So anything after that, I do not have any pity for him, nor for anybody around him, because what you are witnessing there is the greed and selfishness of few people, okay? And they will pop him up for as long as possible until they finish Nigeria. Do you think all the money they are now stealing, they are giving it to Tinubu? No, nobody is giving Tinubu money anymore. What they are doing to Nigeria right now is that Tinubu just wanted to be president. He is president now. And there are those, for him being president, right? It is their own master key to Nigeria Treasury. They are already there. 20.5 trillion naira borrowed in 1 year. They have already printed over 15 trillion, could be 35 trillion. Add all of this together in 1 year. Where do you think the money is? In the pocket of minister this, say that, this ministry this, department that. Money are going in, nothing to show for it. But the debt is piling up. Do you think they are packing the money and putting it inside Tinubu's account? All of these guys who are using bogus contract, bogus projects to loot the treasury of Nigeria, and Tinubu is there, all he has to do is just to sign it. He doesn't even have to sign. His signature is right there on auto paste, copy and paste, and trillions of your money is gone.